Hello, my nerds. This is actually the second time I've tried to record this. I couldn't remember information that I had to look up real quick. So today we're going to talk about Street Magic, which is book 2 of Circle Opens Quartet by Tamora. I may just go ahead and talk about the next 2 books, Cold Fire and Shattered Magic, even though it's been a while since I've read them. I do remember like the basic plot points. I may just read them real quick. Who knows? I mean, they're not. It wouldn't be terrible for me to read them again. Problem is though, because of the work schedule I have, I'm not going to be able to like just sit down and read them full on. So I may have to break up this series a little bit, which I didn't want to do. Mostly because it's just easy to keep track of things. I need to get like just organize things into more playlists, you know, because like right now it's just my playlist. Bug and Q were supposed to make videos, but I guess they haven't. So it's like, oh well. I know for a fact one of them is still uses the channel to watch things, but they're not posting anything. So, oh well, I guess it's up to me. Anyway, so Street Magic. By the way, I feel kind of bad because I feel like I didn't talk about a lot that happened in Magic Steps. The problem is that there's not a whole lot to these books. There's not so many like wasted things. There's not grand revelations or anything like that. So it's really almost self-contained. So there's not much to talk about without giving away spoilers, you know. And I really feel bad because I feel like I didn't really talk about Magic Steps too well to try to get people interested in reading it. But hopefully I do better with this one. We'll see. There's no script for these things. It's literally just me rambling on the top of my head. Anyway, Street Magic, as kind of stated, takes place, I think, a little bit after Magic Steps, or roughly around the same time, a little bit after. It's kind of hard to tell because it's kind of hard to. They don't really put in dates too much, you know. So, Briar and Rosethorn are traveling and they're heading west. They're on their way to Yangjing, and to get there, they end up going through Tamora, which is a weird like city-state in Sotat, which is the kingdom that Briar's from. You know, he was actually from the capital, Hajra, I think is how it's pronounced, in Sotat. Or is it, wait, I'm trying to remember if, I think Sotat is the kingdom, and Hajra is the city. So I think he was in Hajra, and so, I get these kind of confused, so, but, and Tamora is very interesting. It's a very old city. They say that I think they said that it's been lived in for the last like 1,200 years, and it was a kingdom in its own right at one point, and then it kind of got swallowed into the Sotat kingdom. And while they may technically, and basically they state that it's only part of the kingdom by the map. That's it. Because the city still has an emir, which is basically a king. So they have a king in all but, you know, officiality. So it's a very odd place to be. And throughout the book, you'll also get the sense that they are, without a doubt, it's a very arrogant kind of city. Because they consider themselves to be so far removed from everyone that they believe that the world revolves around them, you know. So it's it's not the best city to visit, you know. And so Briar and Rosethorn have been there for several months at this point. Briar's been working with the local Living Circle temples, and basically like updating their medical supplies. and Rosethorn's been working with local farmers because apparently they've been farming the land so long, the land is tired, you know. So they're working on that, and they've been there for, like I said, they've been there for a good several months. And one day, walking through the richer market square or marketplace, Briar notices a young girl performing magic, and he gets interested, and it turns out he finds young Evie. She has a full name. I can't pronounce it because it's very Oriental sounding, so I'm not even going to try it. I think it'd just be disrespectful. But he finds young Evie, and she is a stone mage. And stone mages are actually quite common in their world. The problem is, though, is there's none in the city. Well, there's one in the city, and he's an asshole. So Briar ends up becoming her teacher, because, as I stated in the last book, if there's no teacher of the same magic to take the girl, then it's up to the founding mage to educate her. So, and this one, at least in this story, Rosethorn is not as helpful as Lark was in the last book. Lark actually kind of, did things to help. Rosethorn really kind of takes a little bit of a back seat for this one, and which isn't a bad thing. But it's not like Briar actually needed her. Briar actually did a good job of teaching her, and Evie is a really smart girl, so she really takes her lessons pretty quickly. So he doesn't really have that much problems with her. So while this is going on, Briar's past as a street rat, even more so than it did in Briar's book, really comes to kind of hit him over the head. And I think this book really does a great job of, having him stop being Roach, who he was when he was a street thief, and finally disconnects him from that, and it makes him 100% Briar Moss, and it's really nice to see that happen. But basically, the main storyline is, unfortunately, there are multiple gangs in Tamora. And I'll talk about the gangs at the end because they're kind of confusing to me. But one of the gangs, the Vipers, original, they overhear Briar calling Evie a stone mage. Well, stone mages would be useful to a gang. They would be able to know, sense where jewels are being hid. And they'd be able to sense when, which ones are good, which ones are crap, which ones are real, which ones are fake. So a stone mage would be really useful to a street gang. So basically, throughout the book, they're trying to get Evie, and the Vipers are not a conventional gang in that they are self-funded. They're actually funded by a noblewoman who basically just has too much time on her hands. It's basically that she's a bored rich woman, so she basically financially backs a gang and gives them orders just to kind of fill up her time. So that's really kind of it. I know that's really kind of boring in terms of villain motivations, but that's really kind of it. And then so yeah, that's basically kind of the book. I mean, it's just kind of this game of Briar trying to teach Evie and keep her out of Viper hands. And there's a wonderful ending where naturally, of course, obviously the Viper's going to get their hands on Evie at the end, and then Viper's going to get to go rescue her, and he rescues her in a very spectacular fashion. It's very awesome. So that's really kind of, like I said, that's really kind of it. Not really a whole lot going on. I just really love that, throughout the book, Briar is trying to defend his old lifestyle, but it's very flimsy, especially in the face, especially when the truth is being shoved in his face, And so So yeah, I mean, it's really just a good book. Evie is just wonderful. I really do wish Fullcast Audio had not lost their money. I really do, because they do such a great job with voice acting. I think this is actually the first one that isn't narrated by Tamora Pierce, and I'm very sad about that because she does a great job narrating. It is narrated by Bruce Coville. So that, I think the reason they did that is because the main character is a guy. I think that might be one of the reasons, because if you go to the Fullcast Audio website, Bruce Coville still has a working relationship with Tamora Pierce. The problem is, though, obviously, you know, they don't have the funding to bring in the full cast for more audiobooks, which is really a bummer. But yeah, other than that, like, the biggest problem I have with this book is that it did go into gangs and gang lifestyle a lot. But one thing kind of confused me, because all the gang members are, you know, roughly within a few years of Briar, and at this point he's 14. So it's like they're basically between the ages of like 10 to 17, I think, 16 or 17. So it's like, where's the adult gangs? Is there like an age limit for these gangs, and are adult gangs different, or like what happens when you age out of a gang? You know, they really need to kind of go in. I really would like more detail about that. You know, because they never talk about an adult being in a gang, which is kind of bizarre, because I mean, gangs are for all ages. At this, you know, it should be for all ages. So I kind of wonder, like, what happens to adults? Is it not seen to be as cool as being in a gang when you're an adult? So, I mean, that was just kind of my thought. Like, that's one thing that kind of confused me about this. Like, where's the adults in the gangs? You know. But that's really kind of it. So, like I said, I may talk about Coldfire next video. I'll try to read it real quick, and then I'll talk about Shattered Magic after that. Try to speed read through those as much as I can, because I really don't like. I didn't want to break up series if I'm talking about them. So that's it for the day. You guys have fun. Be good. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I don't think I'm going to say that anymore. Like, I can't come up with a great way of saying it. But you guys know what to do. Anyway, you guys have a good one.